Okay, so we talked about functions as a process where you take a value, right? It gets inserted into a machine, and it does something to it, and it gives you an output. Okay, there are a bunch of things happening here. You know, and it just is like, just different things happening. Boom, 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 when it comes out, right? So, inverse function is if you want to take this and go back to where you came from. Okay, so if you want to, so can you put it into the same machine and give you back where it came from? No, you got to put it into a different machine. Okay, and that machine is called the inverse function. So it's an inverse function if you put in y and you get back x. Okay, so unfortunately, you heard like reverse engineering. Have you guys heard of that? If someone makes an amazing product, a company makes an amazing product, they're like, oh man, this is amazing, right? We gotta do the same thing. So what they do is, they buy the product and they take it apart and see how it was made. Yeah, like for example, Samsung. I'm sure Hyundai probably still does that. They probably buy a BMW and go, oh man, how do we make a car like BMW, right? They probably do that. Okay. Now, so things like that, maybe you can reverse engineer. So that means it's an inverse function. But how many of you here are taking chemistry? Did some chemistry in grade 10, right? But chemical reactions is also is a function. You put two things in here and you mix it somehow, right? And something comes out, or you explode it, you heat it up, right? And you get a product, right? So that's a function. But can you go backwards? Yeah, some of them is impossible to go backwards. Right, so I'm sure if you learn chemistry, they say you can go backward provided that your temperature is like 1,000 degrees and something like that, right? Which is like very, very hard to recreate, or it's like impossible to do. Okay, so not all functions are reversible. That's my point. Okay, so what kind of functions are reversible and what kind of functions are not reversible in mathematics? Okay, that's what I want to discuss. So there's two types of functions. Okay, there's a many-to-one function, and there is a one-to-one function. Okay, this is referring to the input, and this is referring to the output. Okay, input, output. Okay, what this name is referring to is saying that many different inputs give you the same output. So an example of this is a parabola. Okay, y equals x squared. There's two different inputs you can put into x squared and get the same y value. Okay, for example, 1 squared is 1, but minus 1 squared is also 1. Many to 1. Okay, so look, x, 1, negative 1, they both give you 1. It's still a function because for every input, it gives you only one output. But think of it backwards. If I have 1, where did it come from? Can you answer that question now? You can't. You can only say 1 or negative 1, maybe. You don't know which one for sure, right? So you can't reverse this process. Right? It wouldn't be called a inverse function anyways. Because a function has to have only one output, right? So if I ask you, if this is the input, what's the output if you reverse the process? You have to give two answers, right? So it's not a function anymore.
So this is irreversible?
Yeah, so this is not reversible. Okay? One-to-one function, lines are always one-to-one. Okay? So is square root of x. That was also a one-to-one function. So, is there a way for us to tell graphically if it's a one-to-one or many-to-one? It's a simple test. The parabola,
Horizontal.
yes.
Really?
Yes.
Oh.
Instead of vertical line test, it's a horizontal line test. If it touches 2, that means 2 x values, x1, x2, it gives you the same y value. This is no good. Because if I want to go back, 1y gives 2x value. Okay? But look at here. Look at a line. Is it possible to draw a horizontal line and touch 2 points? Okay. What about a roof function? Is it possible to draw a horizontal line and touch 2 points? No. Okay. So that's a summary of what I just said. Okay, horizontal line test.